3, 2, 1, go. Jesus Christ, you feel it in your head. Whoa. Hello everyone, welcome back to Double Clutch Auto Reviews. My name is Mark and today I'm here with my friend who's also named Mark and his beautiful 2018 Tesla Model S P100D. Today I'm going to give all of you a quick overview tour of the P100D, and then I'm going to show you what it's like to get behind the wheel of a fully electric all-wheel drive sports sedan that goes 0 to 60 in 2.23 seconds. Back in 2018, this car had a sticker price of over $150,000. That is bonkers. That's supercar money. But this car arguably has better than supercar performance with pretty reasonable daily driver levels of practicality. Let's dive right in. My friend Marc owns his own used car dealership here in the greater Boston area known as The Car Store. He always has cool and interesting cars in stock and he is always getting new inventory in. If you're in the greater Boston area and you want to check out some of his cool cars, I'll put all of his contact information and website links in the description below. So diving into the 2018 Tesla Model S P100D. This car has enough lithium-ion battery power to hold about 7,000 times the amount of charge that my cell phone can right here. It also has a max range of 380 miles, with a real-world range being more around the 250 to 300 range. It weighs about 4,650 pounds, and it is estimated to have around 700 to 900 instantly accessible wheel horsepower and pound-feet of torque. Those are just rough numbers, but those are what I've gotten from my research looking at people that put this car on the dyno. To put it simply, this practical, fully electric, all-wheel drive, four-door hatchback has the performance that is arguably faster than hypercars. We'll start with checking out one of Tesla's neatest features, the Frunk, of course, because it's all electric and all the batteries are stored underneath the car to give it the best weight distribution with the lowest center of gravity. We have no engine up here, obviously. To open the trunk, you have to push a button in the gigantic center screen. Just push the little Tesla logo on the bottom left-hand corner and then push open for the Frunk. This unlocks and all you have to do is come over here and open this right up. As you can see, there's a decent amount of storage room under here. I love my combustion engines, but for the fact that we don't have one in this car, this is very neat to have and makes this car a lot more practical. We have a few items in here right now, but I will show you a shot with nothing in it. I would say it could fit several backpacks, maybe one big suitcase, or definitely a whole load of groceries. What I find very interesting that Tesla put underneath this Frunk is this decal right here for firefighters or other first responders, and it says cut the 12-volt cable loop beneath this panel to disable the electrically activated safety systems like the airbags, the pretensioners, etc. Do not disable the high voltage battery, and it lays it all out for you. That is really great that Tesla put that there. I don't know if that's mandatory or not, but I think that is an awesome thing to have. On the driver's side of the Frunk, we have our windshield washer fluid right there. Otherwise, there's not much else to this Frunk, except I have to show you guys the little button that you have to push to open the Frunk, just in case you get kidnapped in a Tesla Model S P100D. Moving on to the trunk of the Tesla Model S P100D. First, walking up to the back of the car, we are greeted by this lovely carbon fiber ducktail spoiler. I like that a lot. To open the trunk, right below the Tesla badge, push the button and the trunk automatically opens for you. And you can see that this is a really practical hatchback. We have a lot of room back here. You can also move this sliding piece out and then fold the seats down, and you can actually store a lot of items. If you want to use this as a sort of deck lid as well, you can put it back. You can place items on top of this, or you can fold it and store other items this way. I mean, this thing is pretty versatile. And if you pull up the floor mat, you can also use this false floor under here that has even more storage space. You can also remove this piece of the false floor and add even more versatility to your storage in the back of the Tesla Model S. And to close the trunk, of course, button right here, automatically shuts for you. So I'd like to address one of the things that a lot of people seem to be complaining about with Teslas is the panel gaps. And looking at this car, I mean, I'm looking all around. I'm looking at the B post right here compared to the C post. I mean, to be honest, it seems pretty dead on to me. If you come around to the front, by the hood meets the A-pillar. This is a little bit bigger. Then you come down here by the headlights where the front bumper meets the hood. That's a little bit of a bigger panel gap, but I feel like I've seen bigger ones on a Ford Focus ST. So to be honest, I'm not really sure what people are complaining about that much. I mean, I guess I could see it here compared to this panel gap versus right here. Otherwise though, I don't think it's that horrendous. So now jumping inside the Tesla, one of the funniest things to me is I have the key in my pocket right now. Look at that. The Tesla greets me with extending the door handles, and the mirror opens up as well. That's a very neat little party trick right there. Just stick your hand in here. Door opens up electronically for you. First thing I notice is that I love the frameless doors. I love seeing the frameless windows. It reminds me of my old Subaru. I really miss that on cars. And it also has the black B-post, obviously. So it has that very streamlined look from the front to the back of the car. Just kind of makes it look more open. I like it a lot. Looking at the door, this is our door handle. It's fixed in place. It doesn't move at all. It actually looks really, really nice. This part of the door handle is what you pull to release it. We obviously have our mirror controls and our window switches right here. Close this up, we'll jump inside. What's so cool about this car is that you don't have to do anything. You literally just jump in. As you can see right here, it says car off in the gauge cluster. All you have to do to get the car going is just put your foot on the brake and put it down and drive, and now the car is ready to go. I think that's so neat. I'll show you how the gear lever works too. I'll put it back in park. Obviously, it's pretty easy. I actually was a little bit intimidated when I jumped into this car for the first time. I've never been in a Tesla before, but everything seems to be really intuitive and user-friendly. Like, I jumped in it, and within 5 minutes, I was pretty comfortable with this car. The gear selector works as such. As you can see, we have the PRND setup. To put it into drive, you just put it all the way down as you would a traditional automatic transmission. Now you can see we are in drive. To put it back into park, push this button on the outside of it. That puts it back into park. If you want to put it into reverse, you can go up from here. That brings it into reverse. If you want to go down the transmission like a traditional automatic would be, you have to go down one slight click, and that brings it to neutral. Then you can go down from there. You can also go up kind of a half click to neutral, and all the way up to reverse again. Our windshield wiper and turn signal stock is pretty self-explanatory. Down below that, we have our tilting and telescoping steering wheel stock, and this is our cruise control stock right here. On the steering wheel, it feels nice in your hands. The leather feels a little bit on the cheaper side, especially for the price range of this vehicle, but nonetheless it works and it feels fine, honestly. On the left, we have our volume and track controls, and on the right, we have our gauge cluster controls. Right now, I have it so this wheel rolls down the sunroof, and you can open it to an exact percentage. I don't know why you would really need it to be an exact percentage, but nonetheless, you can do that. You can also do it via the center screen right here. You can close the sunroof, or you can just stop it and open it to a certain percentage. You can scroll down this list. Let's say I want to go 38%. How's that? Why not, right? Moving back over to the gauge cluster, pushing this button, we can cycle through all of our display options. We have our temperature, fan speed, display brightness, sunroof controls, which is what I was just on, our recent calls, contacts. This is really nice to have on the right side of the steering wheel, so you don't have to reach over to the center screen while you're driving. You can cycle through essentially all of the controls that you need, and you can access them right here. And before we dive more into this amazing center screen, that's what everyone talks about in the Tesla, of course, I want to point out in the P100D, there's this really cool carbon fiber finish all along the dashboard. This is a really minimalistic looking interior, but for this kind of a car, it just really works well. Dare I say, a spaceship feel. And now let's dive into this gigantic center screen. This pretty much controls every single thing about this car except for those main driving controls and the other secondary buttons that I just showed you earlier. Starting at the top of the screen, you can pretty much see immediately that it resembles a gigantic iPhone, pretty much. We have the time and the Wi-Fi connectivity up there. We'll start going down the list with our controls of our exterior lights. We can put them to off, parking, on, auto. We can fold in the mirrors here. We can open the trunk here, as I said. We open the sunroof as well. We can adjust our display brightness up and down that easily. Going down to the pedals and steering, we have all of our adjustments as far as what mode we want to be in. The acceleration, steering mode, regenerative braking. We also have our range mode, so you can see how far you're going to go before you get to your next destination so you don't run out of charge. Next, we'll go down to suspension. We're going to start with very high, which is where we're at right now based on the location we're at. We need some more ground clearance, which is 6.9 inches. then high goes down to 6.5, standard 5.7, and low is 5.4 inches of ground clearance. The Tesla automatically adjusts to the ride height that is optimal for the speed you're going, or you have limited adjustment ability that you can set yourself. Moving down below that, we have our charging page. We have our range, 305 miles right now. We have our open charge port button, as well as how much Marc paid last time that he took this thing out all the way in Lebanon, New Hampshire. Moving down below that, we have our autopilot mode, which I'm not going to be testing out today, but this essentially is the page that shows all of these readouts. Next, we'll go down to our vehicle settings, which have our walk-away door lock, our auto present handles, which is a neat party trick like I said earlier, auto mirror tilt and whatnot, auto wipers. Next, we'll go down to our lights, which is pretty much the same thing in the controls page as I showed you earlier. Next, we'll go to display. This is pretty cool. We can have a screen clean mode, so you can clean the screen of all these fingerprints as I'm making right now. You can clean the screen without messing up anything, and you just hold this button to exit. In 3, 2, 1, and now you're back to normal. We have our trip page below that. Right now you can see our current trip. We obviously didn't really go anywhere because I'm just at Marc's house. Down here we have all of our other readouts based on our tripometer. Next we'll go to our navigation options. This shows us all of our settings for the navigation. We have avoid ferries, avoid tolls. Next we'll go on to safety. Now this is pretty cool. We have a speed limit mode. If you have a kid and you don't want them going over 90 miles an hour, for instance, you can set it right there. We also have the dash cam right here on honk, manual, auto. That's pretty cool how you can change those settings to whatever you want. Below that we have our service page. We have all of these configurable items right here. Below that, software. This is pretty much the P100D's about page. It shows its VIN number, its mileage, the software it's using, the navigation data. And now coming down to the bottom part of the gigantic center screen, we push this little icon right here, the Model S. That brings us up to our navigation. And now I will say the screen is not that laggy. I wish it were a little bit faster, I'm not gonna lie, but overall it works pretty well. Next, I'd like to show you our climate controls. You can use this button to slide back and forth between red hot and ice cold and bring it on the AC. We can also adjust our defrosting mechanisms for the front and rear windshield. We can also put on our heated seat right here. Moving down below that, we have our phone. This is our music. This is our camera system. As you can see, this is the backup camera. It looks pretty crisp. Pushing this button right here, we bring up all of our different apps that you can scroll through. We also have different desktop screensavers. Sure, why not? What I find is really interesting, we can do the submarine from The Spy Who Loved Me. Next I'd like to show you is the arcade, all the games we can play. Wow, you know, sitting in our Tesla as a passenger or charging, definitely not driving the Tesla, right? We have Battle of Polytopia, Sonic the Hedgehog, which is pretty cool, but it requires a controller. It's not that big of a deal though. You can play all these games right here. That's really actually pretty sick. I have to say, charging an electric vehicle is one of the downsides because you have to wait at the charge port rather than just filling up your car with gas real quick and then back on your merry way. But if you have to sit there and charge, at least you have these pretty cool games to play while you're waiting. And if you don't feel like playing, we can just go right to the theater, and that pulls up Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, YouTube. Hey, Double Clutch Auto Reviews, make sure you like and subscribe. We also have the Tesla tutorials right here, which is pretty cool. And of course, this pretty much takes my job away from me as I showed in the F-150 Lightning, but this shows you all the ins and outs of the Tesla. And I know that was a lot to take in, but that pretty much wraps up this entire center screen of the Tesla Model S P100D. I mean, it is truly incredible. Not much else compares with this nowadays, and it is truly amazing, I have to say. And now moving down below the center screen, we have a little storage compartment right here. It can fit a couple phones and whatnot. Not too bad. Now we have our center console finished in this carbon fiber. We do this to push it up, and don't mind all of Marc's stuff in here, but there's a decent amount of storage room in there with a cup holder and whatnot. Now you don't just pull this back because that actually can damage it. You push this forward and then it slides back for you. What's really neat about these cup holders right here is there's little ribs along the whole side of it, so depending on the size of your drink, you can move this and increase the size or decrease the size of your cup holder if you would like. And moving down the center console, we have an additional storage area right here. You push the front of it and that folds forward, revealing a little storage spot with 2 more USB ports and a 12-volt outlet. Moving down below that, we have our center armrest right here with these slidable pieces that go backwards to reveal your cup holders. The problem with the center console, or lack thereof, is that this is not a movable piece. This can't be opened, and there's no storage space available right here. I don't know why Tesla designed this to not be able to be opened. I don't really like that. Seems like a waste of space if you ask me. And last but not least, looking at our glove box, we have to open it via this button right here. It took Mark 8 months to find that button. And you can see, looking inside, there's a decent amount of storage space, but honestly not that much. All right, now climbing into the back seats of the Tesla Model S P100D. I will say getting in and out of the back seat of this car is not the easiest task I've ever performed. You have to kind of shift your butt a little bit forward due to the C-pillar kind of coming at a sharp angle and getting in your way of just sliding into this car. But if you have decent mobility, you're not going to have that bad of a time. Just something to note though, if you're looking for the most accessible back seat with the most leg, head, and shoulder room, the Model S definitely isn't the car for you. Right away, I do notice that the headroom in particular is not great. My head is hitting right here. At least if you have to be bumping your head on it all the time, this headliner, this suede, is really nice. I would not want to spend a cross-country road trip back here though, that's for sure. I wish we had door pockets, but that's okay. These seats do look pretty sleek with just the hard plastic covering right there. We also unfortunately don't have door cubbies either back here. That's where the speaker sits. I would say this is an absolutely amazing car considering the performance you're getting along with the practicality all in one vehicle, except if you plan on using these rear seats all the time, especially with larger adult passengers. The center console has this cool carbon fiber look to it with the climate control vents down there and 2 USB ports. If you push this little contraption right here, we have our 2 cup holders extend. How about that? One thing that I wish we did have back here though is a center armrest. It's just the seat, there's no center armrest for rear seat passengers. What's nice about having a hatchback though is that we have easy access to the trunk. If we removed this deck lid that I showed you earlier, we can just reach right down into the trunk, or we can store items in here if we needed more room that way. Pretty practical. And last but not least, back here we can see the sunroof extends all the way to the line of the headrests. Really, really nice to have all this open light coming into this interior. All right, everybody, now we are out in the P100D, and Mark is going to take me for a spin first and show me what this thing's all about, and then I'm going to jump behind the wheel.
We're in southern Vermont.
Yes.
Beautiful day.
No, we're in Mexico.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's see if I can hold my phone. Oh my God! Woo! Holy crap! Look at my sunglasses. Instant laugh machine is the best way I can describe this car.
Yep.
Oh my God.
I can put it like
What the hell? I can't. My sunglasses are gone. I guess I don't need those anymore.
No, you need goggles.
Oh my God. Oh my God. What in the world? Oh my God, this thing is crazy fast. You just stomp the throttle. You don't have to really think about it. It's all-wheel drive. It hooks instantly.
Doesn't spin, doesn't jump.
That is crazy. All right, people, and now it's my turn. All right, ready? Full throttle from a stop. Ready, go. Oh my God! Want to do it again? Let's do it again. Pull over, let everyone go by. Nothing to see here, people. 3, 2, 1, go. Jesus Christ, you feel it in your head. Whoa, it's like you feel the blood from the front of your brain rush to the back. And I don't have much blood in my brain, we all know that, so I need it all where it needs to be. Woo, doggy. You can feel the seatbelt tighten up like as you accelerate. That is wild. I also really like how it has the Tesla shown with the lane marker lines right on my gauge cluster, and it shows obstacles on the side of the road. It shows passing cars, oncoming cars. It's pretty cool. And I have to say, a lot of people do complain about the interior fit and finish with the materials and whatnot. Because this is all vegan leather, you're not getting the richness of the real leather or the Alcantara and whatnot. I get it, it's a $150,000+ car, but in the grand scheme of things, I actually think the fit and finish in here is really not that bad. bad. It's actually quite nice. Sure, if you're gonna spend 150 grand on like the top of the line BMW or Mercedes, I bet that interior is a little bit nicer, especially for the money you're paying for it. But for the performance and practicality and the interior fit and finish you're getting in this car, I don't really think there's much to complain about. So I let off the throttle and you can feel the car like really slow down. It's almost like you're in a manual transmission with the tachometer pretty much high in the rev range, how it feels with the one pedal driving. You let off the pedal and you can pretty much come to a stop, obviously, really quickly too.
And you'll see it puts your brake lights on.
Yeah, you can see it light up in the gauge cluster. The car's tail lights light up. That is something else. The technology is crazy. And if you have it on autopilot, obviously the car just does it for you. It even steers for you, which is quite scary. I would not recommend trying that on a back road. Mark and I just did it, and it wasn't really that fun. Punching it full throttle with you controlling it is much more fun. So now I'm gonna go 50, and we're gonna see how a full throttle punch does from this speed. I mean, it just has all that torque and power all at once, zero lag. God, that is impressive. Do you have trouble merging on the highway in this car?
Never.
Make sure no one's coming. Ready?
Yep.
Dude, it takes your breath away. Oh my God. I don't think I'll ever need to go to Six Flags again if you own a car like this. You really don't. You really don't. This is your own personal roller coaster. I'll be extra impressed if the GoPros stayed on. Then I know those things can get stuck to anything. And like you were saying earlier, the handling in this thing really is just something else too. For a 4,650 pound car, obviously it's 5,000 pounds with us in it for sure. It doesn't feel like it. It just grips the road. I mean, we're not pushing it on a track right now to really push it to its limits and really feel those finite differences, but you can tell this thing is a true performance car. All right, last one for the boys, everybody. What the? Oh my Lord. That was what a car, man. What a car. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this little review video of this awesome Model S P100D. If you want to check out this P100D for sale or any of the other awesome cars that Mark has on his website, go check it out. I will put all of his links and contact information in the description below. He also offers continental shipping in the US. So no matter where you live in the continental US, he can ship cars to you. So no worries about that. All right, guys, take care. Have a safe day. I'll see you on the next review. Have a good one. Peace. Can you go back to the romantic mode?
Oh, I didn't know you were in the mood. All right.
You got it?
Yeah.
All right, there you go. Romantic.
She's blowing heat.
Ooh, yeah, be careful. Ow. You gotta love his sense of humor. Emissions testing.
Press the left scroll wheel.
Okay.
Okay. And then turn signal. And get this.
What the hell?
Because that may not be enough of a selection, you have 8 different types. Short spread ripper. Okay. Not to be confused with Falcon Heavy.
I think it's gonna keep doing it unless you turn your turn signal off, I think. Oh, put that one for your wife's turn signal. And don't tell her how to do this.